Flosstube friends, this is Lorraine at Shanebrick Cottage. I'm here today with a fully quilt video, no cross stitch. This is my second attempt. After I posted my last Flosstube earlier in the month, I immediately filmed a quilting tube, a quilting bee, whatever you'd like to call it, and I don't know what happened. It's not on my device. So a few weeks later, here I am trying number 2 attempt. So if you are new, welcome. As I previously mentioned, my name's Lorraine. I love all things sewing, cross stitch, quilting, regular garment type sewing, all the things. And I thought that I would love the opportunity to share with you guys my quilting journey. Hasn't been quite as long as my cross stitch, because I started cross stitching when I was in high school. So that was just like yesterday, right? But I thought I'd share with you a little bit of my quilting. So grab something to drink, kick back, get something to stitch in your hands, or however you want to enjoy this video. I'm going to, just a little bit of housekeeping, I am going to keep calling it Flosstube, just for naming conventions to keep everything in one place, but I will indicate at the beginning of the videos if they're just quilting or if they're cross stitch. That way, if you're totally not interested in that topic, you can skip along to something else. But anyway, let's go. So let me tell you a little something before I start showing y'all the pretty stuff. So one of my grandmothers lived in Ohio, and she made for me, you know, like 100 years ago, a wedding quilt, which I'll show to you. And it meant a lot to me because as an adult looking back, you know, and I wasn't her biological granddaughter. She was married to my father's father, my paternal grandfather, and she never treated me different than the other slew of grandkids that she had. You know, she had outlived a couple husbands, and so she remarried. So, and I just feel very blessed and grateful that I had the opportunity to have her in my life, because she was so kind, and you know, I wish I could be more like her with all of the things that she could do, because late in life, my grandfather and her bought a farm in Ohio. They had some cattle, they sold feed, and she always made time to take new classes, to learn new skills, like accounting type bookkeeping classes, so she could help with the books. You know, she took classes at a folk school called John Campbell. She would go to OU and learn things. So she was always learning, but her focus was always on the farm and the family and the grandkids and all of that. And I just love that about her. So let me show you the quilt that she made me. So this is the quilt she made me in 1989. I'm not going to be able to give you like a great picture of it. Maybe I can go outside later and take a far away picture and insert it. But what is neat is I'm not exactly sure how she did this. And again, because I'm kind of new, there's no traditional binding. It's like 2 pieces of fabric with batting in the middle, no raw edges. So I guess she just turned them in and whip stitched it. It's the quilt, it's pieced by hand, it's quilted by hand. One of my favorite parts of the quilt, let me show you, is this here. Let me find find it. I should have found this before I got it on here. Let me find it while we talk. So, my first husband and I had a German Shepherd that was a pup shortly after we got married. And one night, he stayed up late and watched television with the pup, and I went to bed. Well, he was snuggling on the couch with this quilt. And the pup, she chewed some holes all over the quilt. Don't ask me how she did it, but my grandmother was able, I sent it back to her. I was living in Illinois, so I mailed it to her in Ohio. And she made these little heart patches on the back where it was chewed through. So she rescued my quilt. And on the front, you can't tell. So she must have had some leftover fabric and deconstructed the front somehow and fixed it and then put a heart on the back. There's a couple hearts on here. But, so isn't that sweet? And so I always wanted to be a quilter. And then here she'd put our names on it in 1989, little embroidery. So I made a quilt for my first house. It was like a wall hanging quilt. I took a class at a local Joann's, learned how to do it. I have it probably somewhere. It's totally faded out because it was like deep navies and pinks, and I had it hanging on a wall and the light hit it, you know, the direct sunlight over the years, and it faded. But and it was, looking back on it now, it's kind of, and then I've done some other projects, you know, and so my skills are building, you know, they're building to where they are today. And today I feel like a very confident intermediate quilter. That's how I would label myself. So this is from Grandma BJ. Let me toss it over. BJ made one more quilt for me when my son was born. She made this one, a little crib quilt. Simple but beautiful and sweet. Again, this one she did bind, hand pieced, hand quilted. Very sweet, very kind. So through the years, I've taken classes to learn new things. Let me share with you some of my finishes that are seasonally appropriate. Like, so these are like my Halloween fall finishes that I made a few years ago. And it's appliqued, machine appliqued with a zigzag stitch. Has some buttons sewn on. So I get this out every year and sit in one of the chairs in the living room. It is from this. This was a Christmas gift one year from my husband, Steve. And so here it is. Here's the block. And then this block Create is back there behind me hanging on the wall. And so as you can see, instead of making the quilt, I used it as an opportunity to practice my applique skills. The pieces were already laser cut, and no, they were not. The letters are laser cut, but the pieces were not. Now let me take that back. Yes, all the pieces were pre-cut for me with the fusible. So very user-friendly. I just had to learn how to put them together. So I've done this one, this one, this one, and this one. I do have the pieces for the rest. It is a pattern book, so I could recreate the projects if I wanted to. It has all the templates, so like it kind of comes like this. So it's pretty neat. It was a really nice Christmas gift. It was a block of the month from a store in the next town over called Danner's. It's a Bernina dealer in Hanover, Pennsylvania. And Steve just got this for me as a block of the month Christmas gift. So every month I'd go over and pick up my new block, which was a lot of fun. And I enjoyed that. And that was a really easy way to learn some new things. Then, let me show you I have two Halloween quilts. Both were free patterns with the Fat Quarter Shop. So here's one I did a couple years ago. This was, I picked my own fabric from Joann's. I'm so super proud of, so many things because I learned a lot. That middle piece was like, wow, look at all those points. And if I do say so myself, I nailed it pretty good. Not perfect, but nice. So this is a nice little crib size. I just fold it and hang it over a ladder in the living room. That's where I grabbed it from. And then I have one that, so this one was like 2 years ago, I believe. This one was last year's. I think this one was called Boo Crew. This one I did get the kit from them, so this is their fabric choices. I did add the jumbo rickrack myself. I did a reverse machine binding on it, and I probably should have said that. All of my quilts are machine pieced and machine bind on a domestic Singer Quantum Stylist 9960. So instead of folding your binding to the back, I fold it to the front, and stitch down and put some rickrack in it. Love this quilt, very cute. Really love the back fabric. This one and that one, probably all of my quilts are pretty much a cross hatch design, like on a 45, going both ways. It seems to be the most simplest way for me to quilt on the domestic machine. I'm not opposed to learning how to use a long arm. I know we will never own a long arm, even if you know, money was no object and sky's the limit. There's just nowhere we could put one in our home. But I do know that that store I'd mentioned before, Danner's, they do have a long arm there that you can rent after you take a class, and they rent it by the hour. And so that might be something that I would be interested in doing in the future, is learning how to use that, and just playing around and see if it's something that I like, or if I want to just stick with doing them here and maybe sending out the bigger quilts to a professional. But anyway, so those are my Halloween. I chose not to do this year's Halloween quilt because I just had other things going on and other projects I was working on. So I felt like I didn't have time to do a third Halloween quilt, but maybe I will in the future. So let me show you. Oh, let's stay on the topic of Halloween. So this is a project bag I made for cross stitching, but why I'm sharing it with you guys now is I learned, this is my first attempt at foundation paper piecing. I learned this from the Little Green Bean on Instagram. She has a club, a Patreon type situation called the Sewing Squad, and this was the October project, was learning how to foundation paper piece. So she there was a link for the paper. I downloaded it, just print on the computer. And then I did a blanket stitch. I kind of got a little crazy and got too far in on my blanket stitch. I really, really, really like this. I want to try this technique again. Again, on like just some smaller motifs, because I did struggle. And it wasn't because of her or anything. It was me. I just couldn't wrap my head around. Like, I was trying to use too small of a pieces of scraps instead of just using a larger piece. Make sure I had the coverage, sew it, and then trim it. I was trying to go my own way instead of following the instructions. Lesson learned. But I made this with just some fabric I had on hand, fully lined, using Ann Can Stitch tutorial. If you haven't seen her, go check her out. She's on Flosstube and on Instagram. This came in the mail this week from Fat Quarter Shop, just a new Lori Holt charm. But that was a lot of fun. I feel like I got a sneeze. I got like the itchy nose today. Is that like the YouTube nose, like you're scratching? I'm playing with my hair. I keep like reaching for my glasses even though they're not on. Sorry. So let me show you my current whips. So those are some previous finishes that kind of fit into this time of year, but let me show you. I got everything stacked up back here. So this is a current whip that I've been working on a little bit each weekend. Let me show you the pattern. Very cool pattern. Pumpkins in a row. It's a fig tree pattern. And the reason I selected this pattern, one, because, you know, it's really cute, but I wanted to learn how to do these prairie points. And so that was a learning opportunity. So I have the table runner all done using a mix of fabrics. I got some pins in it still because I'm not done sewing. Oh, I just poked myself sewing down the binding that's holding the prairie points. So fabric from Hobby Lobby, some fig tree fabric, just rando, and I keep poking myself with pins. So this is super interesting. So let me show you the back where I'm So this one, you know, I have to bind it traditionally. So you put your prairie points on. They're just like little squares folded. And then you attach a binding to them, and then you pull that down, and I'm hand stitching it. And it makes the points then therefore stand up on your quilt, or in this case, a table runner. So I'm about halfway down one side. I've got the other half to do, then the other side completely to do yet. So that's why I kept poking myself. Then what you do for the ends is traditional binding, but of course you're not going all the way around the corner in one swoop because you'll mess up this part. So I guess you just tuck it in on each end and go down traditionally. I will keep you posted how it turned out. I'm really, really happy with it. I like it a lot. Again, a crosshatch, a cream on cream white dot that's really, or creamy dot since it's not showing up on camera, is my background fabric. My only word of wisdom on this particular pattern is I would take the time, I mean, unless you're super experienced and like no problem reading patterns. I have been spoiled by the Fat Quarter Shop and how they write their patterns. And so to read somebody else's pattern, it just took me a minute to like rephrase it or break it down. And part of that is also I don't always cut all my pieces at once because that's not fun. So like I'm doing some and then I'm going back and doing some. So that kind of bit was a little bit on me too. But anyway, very, very nice. I recommend this pattern. It's fun. I can't wait to get it done and get it in use. You know, since it's not Halloween, I can have it out for through Thanksgiving. So hopefully I'll work on that one over the weekend and get it done, and then I can show you guys. Here is my other whip. I did put some time in this last weekend. This has been really hanging on. This was for National Jelly Roll Day 2020. Last year's? Yeah, last year's. So this is the pattern I selected. It's by My So Quilty Life. It's just a PDF. And it's called Rolling Petals. And originally my goal was like, oh, I was going to do the whole quilt. No, it's taking me too long. It is a very well written pattern, easy to follow, great color diagram and everything. I have decided that I'm just going to do the wall hanging, so I will only have 9 blocks, and I'm almost done. I'm using a jelly roll that was called Cozy Up by Corey Yoder. Here's some of the fabrics. Well, here, let me just show you my finished blocks. I think all my blocks are done now. Yes, and I started cutting my pieces for my background and my cornerstones. I think this one's my favorite right here. I love this one. It's kind of all wrinkly, but in strings. I love the fabric. My background fabric is not a high quality fabric. I wish I would have chose something different. It's a quilting cotton from Joann's, but it's a little bit on the thin side. But I love the dot on dot design, and so that's why I picked it. So fall autumnal colors in this jelly roll. I'm going to have a lot of strips left over since I am not doing the large quilt. I'm just doing the wall hanging. So I'll have plenty of strips left over to do another project. I bought this fabric for the background. And hopefully the next time I film a floss tube, it will be one step closer to being done. So the part I'm working on right now is these little cornerstones with the white background. So I've got them all cut out, and I just got to start piecing it together. And I think for the sashing, I think I bought enough background fabric. My sashing is going to be the same color as my back fabric, not my background, you know, the back of the quilt. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted. This pattern, again, is My So Quilty Life by Heather Briggs. She is going to have her first fabric line come out this upcoming year. It's really, really pretty pastels. I think it's called Flower Market, something like that. It's a lot of creams and yellows. Very pretty. You should go check it out if that's your colorway you like. Oh, and these totes are, I love these totes. These are like a scrapbook tote you would get at, I got mine at Michael's. Michael's usually has them for the best price, like $4.99 when they're on sale. They're like a 12 by 12, and I love keeping all my stuff in them. It keeps it very nice and organized. So, are you guys having fun so far? Are you liking it? Give me a thumbs up if you do. So, let me show you, I got, for Jelly Roll Day, this year, oh, I have the book over there. I'll tell you what the book is called that I got. This was, again, I will insert the fabric and all that. I won't take the time to look it up right now. But it is a really pretty fabric. Again, I got strings, I got wrinkles. I know I have a photo on my phone that I can insert of the whole quilt. I love the quilt name because it was called Square Dance. I used to do a little bit of square dancing in a former life. I wasn't great at it, but boy, it sure was fun. So this one, I have the backing fabric as well, and my board, my binding. Let me show you what I'm going to use. So this is a much larger quilt because you can see how much fabric I had to get for the backing. And I'll put the dimensions down below so you can know if that's a quilt that you would like to look up the pattern and do. And then here's my binding all cut and ready to go. This isn't really a current whip. I'm kind of done with this one for now. Maybe this spring I will, you know, depending how life goes, make my quilt sandwich and get rocking on that one. I'm back. So the Square Dance quilt, I like to use, for my batting, I like to use a unbleached cotton, typically from Walmart or Joann's loft batting, low loft, natural cotton, unbleached. That's what I use. I like it. That's my jam. So I'll use that. And then when I put my quilts together right now, I take them outside on the front porch, and my husband has some sawhorses out there, which makes him crazy because they're in the corner and he wants to keep putting them away. And then there's like some 2x4s or 2x whatever. They're super long on the porch too. I'm like, no, I need them because you never know when I'm going to go outside. Because this is a product I like to use. I like to use this spray base. It washes out. I have not noticed it gumming up my machine at all, my needles. But it's super stinky. It's an aerosol, probably bad for the environment. But it sure beats the heck out of hand basting or pen basting. And it seems to suit. So they do get clogged up pretty good. Like some of my cans don't have the nozzle on them anymore, but I do take the nozzles off and run them through some hot water because they do get clogged up. So anyway, that's just what I use. What do you guys use when you do your basting of your quilt sandwich? What do you use to hold it together? I'd love to know. So let's go next to some whips that I'll be pulling out for the winter season and working on that I didn't finish last year. Kind of like my cross stitching, I'm pretty seasonal. I like to kind of work on stuff in season. So the one on the top of the pile here doesn't have a case. It has like a little basket. So I really like the cases better. And when I was looking at this today, when I was pulling it together to show you guys, it's really, really close to being done. So it was a free pattern from Primrose Cottage. They have some of the cutest, easiest patterns. A lot of times they're free. They do offer the fabric in a quilt kit sometimes. I just used some fabric I had on hand. So let me see if it tells you what fabric. That might be a fig tree fabric they used. Anyway, here's my version of it. Excuse the marking lines for quilting. I still got to press those out. So there's some markings. So my quilt sandwich is all done. I'll have to double check, but it looks like to me I'm all done quilting. Like a little 2-inch crosshatch. And I think this is, gosh, I don't know, maybe 3 by 3. So a really nice table topper. I think that was my idea, is I was going to put it on the kitchen table. So this must have been from Joann. So here's the yardage, which I still have plenty left. I made project bags and all kinds of stuff. And then a solid. But here, it's like their version of a jelly roll. I don't know what they call theirs. Fabric strips. I think it was Walmart. I don't think it was, I think it was Joann's. I don't think it was Walmart. So I have a whole nother one of these left for maybe another project of some sort. Maybe I could do some scrappy placemats to coordinate. I really like it a lot. I was excited today when I pulled it out and I saw that it was like pretty much like, now I just got to trim it down, put the binding on, and press out the ink marks, and I'm done. So I'm pretty stoked about that, and I really love those colors. I love that warm brown mixed in with the cream and all that. And that's kind of unusual for me. I used a solid color background. A lot of times I tend to use like a dot of some sort. But anyway, so I'm excited, really excited that I, whoops, shook the table. I got this out to show you guys. Oh, and that was called Scattershot by Primrose, the pattern. Then here is one. This will make my 3rd winter working on it. I need to like just buckle down on it. Super cute. It's ambitious for me because it's going to be a big boy. It is this was a mystery quilt along from Fat Quarter Shop. And I think this was just row 1, and I think it was like a row by row quilt. I mean, it's a free pattern. I'll just show you. So I think there was multiple rows of different things, but I went with the idea, and that's why there's math written on here, is I'm making a full quilt of stockings. And I'm using a super pretty fabric. Did I write it down? Again, I'll share that with you because I know I have it in my journal. But here I am so far. And my idea is like to embroider every member of our immediate family, like the kids and grandkids' names on the stockings. I love this so very much. My background is, I know my main fabric's a Moda fabric. My background is like some glittery fabric from Joann's. This one actually feels pretty good. It feels kind of on the thicker side. It's not like as see-through as the other fabric I'd picked from Joann's. Really love this. And I love the deeper colors, the deep green, the even the black. Like I never thought about black being a Christmas color, but I like it. And then like just like the heels and the toes. Super cute. I think this was a layer cake I had. Yeah, it had to be because look, see, I got like these little squares left in my box. Oh, it was Riley Blake's Farmhouse Christmas is the fabric. That's the fabric. The pattern is holiday. All the trimmings, mystery quilt along, Fat Quarter Shop. But again, I'm just repeating the one row over and over. And then I went nuts and bought a ton of this fabric, this little snowflake fabric. So super nice. Again, like this was so fun for me to get everything out and see. And then I'm looking at it going, oh my gosh, I do not need to buy more patterns or anything because I have so many things I need to finish. And speaking of things to finish, here's one more wintry Christmas one that's been a little, what's the word for it? Languishing? I don't know. Waiting for some love and attention. So this is going to be, let's see, I thought I had one block done. I don't. Maybe I already ditched it. And my jelly roll is like a mess. Let me show you my jelly roll. It's so sad. It's all messy now. So I made a block with this wintry woodland print with like a lot of soft blues and browns. Very, very pretty. This was a Joann's jelly roll, their version. And then I've got some white fabric in here. And oh yes, so this is my issue. So typically, traditionally, a log cabin, like here's some, you know, some printouts I got from the internet. Not sharing any wild trade secrets. It's a log cabin. One side's usually your light colors, the other side's usually your deeper colors, and then it will create a nice design. Or you could do like this one. Oh, I have a quilt I could show you that I finished that's following this type of layout, the reds and the greens. Maybe I'll save that. I'll save that one because I'm not going to go dig it out. And you guys, let's get on to some other things, right? So anyway, typically you have red in the middle to symbolize the heart of the home, the hearth, the fireplace. And I cannot find a red, like this one doesn't really, like that suits the color red in here. So maybe I just need to like, maybe just do something different instead of red, because I just can't find a red that I love to go with it. Maybe do a soft brown in the middle. Anyway, this one I really, really want to work on. It's so pretty. The fabric is so gorgeous. Yeah. Anyway, tell me like if you've done a, oh, and this fabric is called Place and Time Winter's Edge Fabric Roll. 100% cotton. Joann's. It's a Joann's tag. This is Joann on the back. A couple years old now. But if you've done some log cabins, did you always stay with the traditional red in the middle, or did you choose something different? Or do you have suggestions for me just based on the little bit you saw that fabric? Should I keep looking for a red? Do you think a light brown would look okay? I'm afraid to go with a blue because there is a lot of different shades of blue in it, and I don't want to be too blue. So let me know. Oh, here, let me put these back in the box too. A little pattern that I'd worked out based on that information from the internet. So those are all the things I need to work on between now and the new year. That's the goals. Now I have other things though I want to work on. So let me show you some plans. Okay, so I really want to do this for sure. This little simple garland free pattern on the Moda website. I think this is a fig tree pattern, fig tree fabric. I'm just going to use scraps I have and make, because right now I have like a little pumpkin garland from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, somewhere like that, hanging on the living room curtains on the valance. And so after Halloween, I'd like to maybe put up some like these acorns instead for a more fall Thanksgiving vibe. So that is high on my priority list. This one here is a pattern I've had for a little while now. This is not going to get started this year. I thought it was, but then when I saw all the other things I have going on, it's not going to happen. And I really don't have the fabric for it right now. So it's called Gobble Up by Sandy Gervais. It will finish at 26 by 30 1/4. There's its fabric requirements. It's a Riley Blake pattern. Super cute, but not happening this year. So I'm going to put that away for next year. Another thing that's not going to happen this year, but definitely maybe in the winter, like after Christmas, early New Year. I purchased 3 of these layer cakes. It's Riley Blake fabric. It's all sewing themed. And it's just going to be for me. That's what I wanted to make it super big. It'll probably be one of the bigger quilts I've ever made. And the goal is it's going to get used hard. I'm going to snuggle under it. Might even, you know, and I will use it on our bed, maybe. I love the pinks, the blues, the yellows, all the sewing motifs. I want to use a very simple pattern because I want the sewing motifs to shine. I don't want them to get lost in a highly pieced quilt. Plus it's going to be really big, so it's going to take me a long time, so I want to keep the pattern simple. So I'm thinking about doing another one of these. This is the layer cake loop pattern on Fat Quarter Shop's website. And this was a pattern that I did. I made this with some Riley Blake fabric. Again, the same bric-a-brac in the binding. I really like that look. I pieced the back. And this is the little quilt that I entered this year in the county fair. And I got a blue ribbon for it, which is very appropriate because the fabric line is called Quilty Fair. And I like how the big blocks were simple, but they let the fabric shine. So I didn't lose, you know, I didn't lose these little motifs, you know, on a highly pieced thing. And then on the back of my quilt, I did a really big label, and I talked about my Grandma BJ that I talked about in the beginning of this video. So I'm really proud of that one, of course, because I won a ribbon, first time entering in the fair, and but that's what that inspired me to get these when I saw those that fabric line. So that's something I want to work on in the new year. Wait, there's more. There's more. Totally, I'll try to edit some of this out where I'm leaning out of camera view. Sorry, it was just the setup. I have a table behind me here. So here's another one that I've been itching to start so much. Look at this pattern. I really do love me a log cabin, and I love the little hearts in the middle. It's a Chelsea Stratton's design pattern, hearts at home too. The quilt's going to finish 48.5 by 57.5. It takes two honey buns for the log cabins and posts. So I only have one honey bun, and so mine's going to be much smaller. And look at, oh, my ribbon already came, my thing came off. Look how gorgeous this is. Look how stunning those colors are. This is Sophia by Brindle Riddle Designs. Sophie, I guess Sophie, not Sophia, Sophie. Gorgeous. And then look at this fabric I got from Fat Quarter Shop to coordinate for my background. A real nice high quality white on white. I'm telling you, it is like so hard. Every time I walk in here, this is sitting out, and I just want to like do it. I just want to jump in and do it. But maybe I'll wait until spring because there's spring colors, and I have so many of these other projects that are started that need attention. And speaking of another project for the spring, so I got to get all this stuff done. I saw this featured on some, I don't know if I saw this on a Flosstube, an Instagram, a Lori Holt video. But this is an old pattern from Lori Holt and Riley Blake, dated 2017. I just printed it off this week. It's called Sweetie Pie. It's featuring a specific type of ruler to make these Dresden plates, which I don't have. So I need to order that ruler so I have it. And I'm not going to do the variety of multiple motifs in the middle, the fruit. I think I might just do the strawberries in all of them, or or something. And this is the fabric I was looking at today. So this is perfect. I love this. I love the color palette, but I don't have any fabric that color. But I do have the like a layer cake and a half of this fabric. I think this is a Layla Boutique line of some sort. Really pretty. And a lot of the pattern, it won't matter to cut this fabric down into those small pieces for the Dresden plates. The color is really just going to shine through. There's no motifs I really need to worry about losing. So I might use that because I counted this out. This is like a layer cake and a half. So it's like 60 some 10-inch squares, which should be a really good jump on this. And then I can figure out the rest as I go. I would just need some background fabric. And I've never done a Dresden plate, and so maybe I'm being a little ambitious. What I think I'll definitely do is just do one, cut one out. And if it's great, I'll keep going. And if it's not for me or not where my skill level is right now, I'll stop and just use that one Dresden plate either in a cross-stitch project bag or a little throw pillow or something. So I won't cut everything out at once. But definitely something on the horizon I want to work on. And then here's one that I'd love to work on this year, and it really wouldn't take long, is I bought this panel for this. Good Saint Nick. And they had it, I bought it last year, they had the Caucasian and the African Santa, so you could get it in any skin tone. Well, not any, like either light or dark. They didn't have any medium skin tone people, but maybe in the future they'll do that. This is using Urban Chicks fabric. It gives you how to put it all together. So here's the panel. I don't have any, I need to get some fabric to finish it out, like the little charms going around it. Holly Jolly Urban Chicks. So I won't unfold it completely, but it's super cute. Super cute panel. I'm glad I got it. I definitely want to do this. Not enough hours in a day, right? So that's on my list of wishes. I'll throw that in the Christmas pile. This is in my fall pile. This is a hat. Oh, let me, since we're in Christmas, sorry, I keep cutting down the frame. Since we're in Christmas, let me show you a couple more Christmas things, and then I'll show you a little bit of haul, and then I have one item I'd like to share with a viewer. So this is a pattern that is super cute. I could, I'm not going to do this year, but it's in my stash. Fig tree, 26 by 36, 26 and a half by 36 and a half. It is one charm pack friendly, so I really like that. And that could be, instead of just ordering a charm pack, you probably just make your own with some scraps. Cute, but not going to get done this year. Now here's a free version of that pattern, similar. The Christmas tree. This is from Fat Quarter Shop. If you're not aware, if you go to their website, they have so many free patterns. Super generous. They have quilt patterns. They have sometimes free cross stitch patterns. They have everything. And let me just show you. I mean, you know, I'm not giving away any trade secrets or anything. But look at their cutting instructions. I just love, and then like their little step-by-step step outs. Love it. So I printed this and saved it. Very similar to the other one. Different. And then this is something that's probably doable this year. This I printed off Instagram. They're using cookie cutters in mini charm squares to make holiday ornaments. So this one's like a star. And it was by me and my sister's designs. So you could go find them on Instagram and you can, you know, get the information. But basically you're taking 2 mini charm packs, sewing them together, and then you cut those strips in half, and then you sew them back together, and then you use your cookie cutter to make a template. Boom, ornaments. Super cute. So that I'm going to put in, like, I definitely want to try and do that, like, as a crafty project. Let me show you a little bit of haul I have, and then I will do a share of something I have with you guys, and we will part until next year. Or not next year, we'll part until next month. And hopefully I don't lose this video and I'm able to upload it. So anyway, so this came from the Fat Quarter. So pretty much everything's like the Fat Quarter Shop. I do get some things from FC as well. But I just love that store. I got a Jolly Bar. This is my first Jolly Bar. I like the pattern, the free pattern that came with it. And so that's why I ordered it. And my goodness, this looks very similar to the fabric I already have. Let's open this. Do I already have this fabric in that layer cake I was going to use? Or is this similar but different? Let's see. Let's see what we have here. My goodness, it's like almost identical, the motifs, but this palette's a little different. It's got a pretty blue in it. Okay, lots of floral. I got this pattern, Stitching with the Housewives, their little quilt pattern. This is for next year. I have the fabric on reserve on a pre-order. I really loved, what it really caught me was there's these little itty bitty panels in the fabric pack, and I wouldn't know what to do with them. And then I just love how they got like framed out. So that's probably gonna be my next year's Halloween quilt. And then this is a beautiful fall one, Layla Boutique. Again, just some maple leaves and some, I don't know, what do we have here? 2, 4, 6, 12, 18 patch. Maple leaves with 18 patches. Very pretty. And my last item was a freebie. It was a flash sale freebie. If you purchased XYZ from Fat Quarter Shop, you got this little charm pack free. A lot of little, it's Lori Holt's calico. So that would make for a nice fabric to work in with something else. And then the last thing is I'd like to share with you guys a panel that I bought that I'm not going to use. It's super cute. There's no place like home for the holidays. It's kind of got that barnwood feel. I don't have any other fabric to go with it or pattern. All you would get is the panel from me. Let me tell you what the selvage says. It is from Christmas Memories by Lucy Crovato by Studio E Fabrics, 100% cotton. It's printed. Very pretty. So if you would like to add this to your stash, please just leave, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment and use the word, there's no place like home. Or I guess those are words, that's saying, there's no place like home. Think of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, no place like home. If you'd be interested in that. If you're interested, all I ask is that you be 18 years or older, you have a U.S. shipping address, instead of saying you're a U.S. resident, because I did have somebody who got one of my items and they were in Australia, but they have a friend in the U.S., so I shipped it to the friend, and then from there, whatever they do, it'll eventually make it to Australia. So I hope you enjoyed this. I would love a ton of feedback, because just to see if this is something that was worthwhile to you, that you enjoyed. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it is a lot of work, so I just want to make sure you guys like it. And if you do, I'll keep mixing this in with my regular floss tubes. So, a regular floss tube, a quilty bee, something like that, bounce back and forth. Anyway, thanks guys for hanging out with me today in my sewing room. I hope you have a great time, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.